I'm here with Andrew and Rob, who are a father and son team behind the rather awesome retro-tastic HYPER Sentinel, which I've had a go at. This is like my childhood come back to me, but reimagined for now. Is that a good description?
Yeah, yes, it is. I mean, there's lots of things that are different from your childhood. For example, it is very much easier to play. When I was doing these games back in the day, of course we were imitating the arcade games where you had to put 10p in the slots.
Yes.
And the idea was to put another 10p and another 10p and another 10p. Nowadays, video games have completely taken over, and it's about enjoyment and extending that enjoyment, and that's what we've got here.
It's still quite hard though. After a few levels I was still finding myself getting
Beaten.
Yeah,
defeated. Well,
I'm trying to think of a way of like saving face slightly there, but no, I get thrashed by these games quite badly. But they're still good fun, even when you're losing, I have to be honest.
Yes, and you have to be, yes, quite right. I get beaten all the time. I've never been very good at them. I like developing and publishing them, but playing them, not so good, sorry.
That's why you make them quite so hard for us all to beat.
Unfortunately, there are people who are just aces at it, like my son in survival mode. What is it, 9 minutes and 30 seconds or something?
9 minutes 55.
9 minutes 55. You wouldn't want to miss out the odd 25 seconds, would you?
9 minutes 54 seconds than I could manage, I would think.
Yes. Well, we at the show here we've seen 1 minute 30. Probably is the best. Is that right in survival mode?
3 minutes 3 seconds is the best time. So
I didn't see that. Well, that's very good, isn't it? For somebody just coming on the stand, that's very good, isn't it?
That's the best time. Yeah.
Did you start to feel threatened that your record might be taken from you?
Absolutely not. No. But I think
the confidence.
when the game comes out on the 11th of May, I'm sure it will be taken. It's just a question of how long it'll take.
How long did you spend developing this one?
So there's a team of 3 of us. The main credit goes to Jonathan Poor and John Ogden, who've done a lot of the coding on this. It actually took us quite a while. It took us a couple of years, and we've spent an awful long time polishing it. So we've come to loads of events like this, taken loads of feedback from players, and we've just fine-tuned and fine-tuned and fine-tuned it some more, so that when it comes out, as I said, on May the 11th, PS4, Xbox, Switch and Steam, it's absolutely as polished as possible.
Yeah, it's got such a nostalgic feel. What were the games you were looking at for inspiration?
So there's a number. I mean, Iridium is a stylistic influence. Everyone sort of catches that one. But actually, when you dive into the gameplay, Defender is a huge influence. You know, the back and forth and the way that you shoot in that. Actually, Jonathan, Tornado Low Level, TLL, was an inspiration for the boost. There's a little bit of Space Invaders in some of the characters, and the way that the alienoids go across the screen was inspired by the UFO inspect. So there's a whole load of different influences that we're bringing together, and that's kind of our neo-retro philosophy. Bring all these treasured memories, but actually wrap them up in something that feels modern. Still challenging, so it gives you the feeling of the old games, but it's almost like your rose-tinted memories rather than the reality.
That's good, but yet I still lost quite quickly. I was playing it on a C64 mode, because you've got different game modes for the screen. How many of those have you got?
C64, ZX Spectrum, who remembers that? There's a CRT mode and back to the normal mode. So there's 4 at the moment. There may be more in due course.
And there's more than one game mode, because you've got the single-player campaign and also there's sort of online capabilities?
Yes, there's an interesting online capability. That's a good way of putting it. We've got a big announcement coming out with a company that used to be run by a chap called Bill something.
Interesting.
It's coming back to me, but I can't quite remember it.
Surname, no.
Yeah, and the Kickstarter for this was almost 200% funded. One of these stretch goals was this rather amazing copy of the game. If you could show us how this beautiful thing works.
Yeah, so this is, if you're as old as me, you might remember games on cassette. So come with a jewel case like this, and of course your cassette back then didn't have one of those in it, which is your USB drive. So actually that's got the Steam build on there, but it's also loaded with interviews, video interviews, developer diaries, strategy guides, artwork, and we've got a whole bunch. We've got 6 indie game demos on there from some of our friends in the
Oh,
indie
amazing.
scene. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I would love that just to put on a shelf and admire, and just to do the flick. The flick is so
Yes,
cool
the flick
that
is
you
the
managed
thing.
to get
Flick
that
is
into
the thing.
there.
There we go. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so cool. So did you ever imagine that you would be going back to publishing
No,
these games?
absolutely not. Absolutely not. In fact, I wouldn't be. If it wasn't him, it's his fault. It's
His
his fault.
fault.
I mean, I packed this up just before the year 2000. Took a couple of years off to sit around, set up a new company, an accountancy company, would you believe? Numbers. I like numbers. And ran that for 15 years. And then he's coming back and saying, come on, you've got to come back and join in with this. I've told him not to do it. But sometimes these young people don't do as they're told. You know
They
that?
insist on making awesome games for us to
They
play.
insist on making awesome
And they
games.
insist on dragging their awesome dads who used to make the games the first time
awesome
round
dad.
back
I'm not
into
sure
them.
about that, but yes, I'm sort of wheeled out. Yeah, I'll still be, when I'm in a wheelchair and dribbling gently, he'll be wheeling me out for these sort of things again. Let's hope.
Well, that sounds like it's going to be good fun anyway.
Yes, probably good fun for you, but I'll be sitting there going. Ooh.
What were the games that you published earlier in your career?
Oh, back in the day, well, if you're a Spectrum addict, then there's Avalon and Dragon Talk from Steve Turner, Iridium obviously on the C64, Nebulous on the C64, also made it to the Amiga, and then in the 21st century days, Pinball Dreams, Pinball Fantasies and Pinball Illusions. Fabulous games from a wonderful team of Swedish developers called...
Digital Illusions, you might know them today as DICE. So
Okay.
originally 4 Swedish guys discovered by this gentleman here.
Absolutely, and the pinball games were fabulous. My favourite table in Pinball Dreams is the Nightmare table, and I still have ringing in my head the sound effect from the dong from the bell, and it sounds like the end of the world.
That's what these games do, though. You know, you play them. I used to play Tempest, and I used to dream Tempest after playing it. And this is a similar one. I can imagine after a few hours of playing this, I'm going to start seeing it like a screensaver on my brain.
And the sound effects and music are so important. People don't realise how much of the emotion is actually driven through your ears. That's why you should play this with the headphones on.
Absolutely. So this one was out soon?
11th of May, as I said, PS4, Xbox, Switch and Steam. So we're just on that final run, and we've got, as we alluded to, we've got some exciting announcements to come on the 24th of April as well.
Well, thank you for bringing it here. I've had a great time playing this. It's absolutely stunning, and it is awesome seeing these retro games coming back to the forefront, things that are so gameplay focused and just seriously good fun. Thanks again, and I'm going to get back to playing the game.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the video, please subscribe and leave your comments below, and I will see you next week.